Right, so I was a little bit quiet, so I've just nipped it up slightly. If I am a bit too loud, let me know in the old chitty chat. Now, I've put something together for you guys that we'll go through, have a bit of a chat about. Of course, as it's probably quite apparent, it's going to be about Arcane Season 2 and about the just wonderful, wonderful characters that we've been blessed with, both new and returning from Season 1. To be completely frank, I feel there is maybe, and that's a big maybe, there's maybe one or two characters that are fine, that have had zero issues throughout the season, and unfortunately, they're incredibly minor characters. So, like, for example, I think Singed is fine. You know, I really don't have any issue at all with what he did throughout the show, his story. I wish there was a little bit more, but whatever. And Rictus, you know, because he's just a guy. He's just like a dude, and then he dies. So that's no problem. But unfortunately, there are a couple other characters, like as in the rest of the cast, that I take some issues with. So, without any further ado, because not only is this going to be a live stream, but I'm assuming, I'm a little bit new to YouTube, but I'm assuming that this will just get uploaded as a video as well for other people to watch. So look, let's just jump right into it. We'll slowly go through. I don't anticipate being here, honestly, more than half an hour to an hour. Not planning on doing anything crazy. So let's just see, as we go through, how long that might take us, eh? Sorry about that. So, Arcane Season 2, Failed Characters, a cringe post by the Major Ghoul. So, yeah, as you can tell, I have a PowerPoint presentation prepared for you guys today. And I spent a very, very long time and a lot of effort. The budget was in the tens of millions for this. So I hope you guys not only appreciate the incredible CGI budget, but also I had to literally create a new color for this, which took a lot of effort. So look, I hope you appreciate it. If you don't, well, that's life. Oh, and I also, sorry, I do want to quickly say, just as a heads up, in my videos, I don't swear. Because I'm writing it and reading it. In my normal vocabulary, however, I do a lot of swearing. So so if I just accidentally start rambling on and cussing and cursing, my apologies. Nothing wrong is going on. That is just how I normally speak. So let's present the first character, Isha. Everybody knows Isha. I think most people love Isha, and I feel a lot of people were very, very disappointed with what the writers and the showrunner decided to do with the character. So, we've got Isha, aka Woman. Well, that's a little bit rough. What are you doing calling her Woman? Well, I'll tell you why. So, if you've watched me breakdowns, you will have noticed that I referred to Isha as Isha multiple times. Well, that's because I thought that's what her name was. So, Isha, or Isha, pronounced Isha, is woman in Hebrew, or Eve's second name, of Adam and Eve fame, right? To me, I thought, there's no way that these people create a new character and then and then call her woman, right, or girl, right? That is so lazy and like such a placeholder and super cringe to me. So I thought, no way, it's not Isha, it has to be Isha. Like they'll take the root of Isha and change it into like a name, like actual names work, yeah. But no, it's actually Isha. It's literally the Hebrew word for woman. Oh, that is so lazy. Like, I get that you can have a character name and, you know, it's not a very important character. So let's look. I mean, like, okay, so this word meaning this in this other language, that works. We'll use that. It works. But Isha is not an unimportant character. Isha is meant to be like a pivotal character to Jinx's mentality and psyche, and she was meant to fracture Jinx, but we'll get to Jinx a little bit later. I felt, even when finding out that, yeah, it's actually Isha and not Aisha, I thought that was really lazy. Again, as I've put there, it feels like a placeholder, if anything. Um, yeah, kind of cringe. Kind of cringe. I cringed very, very hardly when I found that out. Anyway, so, show's done. She's dead. You know, we have no information on her at all, really. So, where's she from? Why can't she speak? Why is Aisha or Isha's song in Mandarin? And why is her name in Hebrew? Like, there's these little things. I also put there, who cares? Me, I care, because Isha is such a great character, and I grew so attached to her so quickly. You know, kind of like I did with the kids in the first 3 episodes of Arcane. Isn't that like what you're trying to achieve with these characters? You want us to grow attached to them. You want something horrific to happen to them, and then that kind of changes the entire story moving forward. I thought that's kind of, you know, you achieved that with season 1, and you did that masterfully with season 1. And then you just throw this character in with some interesting elements going on, and then you just kill them, forget about them, and move right along. Insane. Absolutely insane to me. A huge waste of time, resource, energy. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And again, there's no... I'm not saying that, you know, every character that is written or introduced has to have all these answers about them. Like, again, like, the 2 characters I said that were great are Singed and Rictus. Rictus especially, we have 0 information on, but he's fine. You know, we don't need it. Isha, on the other hand, I felt there were so many little things that were very, very interesting, but who cares? Me, I care, man. I care. She's cool. She's such a great little character. But whatever. Moving on. Good lord. All right. So this I found kind of interesting as well, right? So something that could have been done with the character. So, you know, if you change her eye color and her nose is different. She could have been the sheriff's daughter from season 1. And that would have been an insane twist. You know, her new big sister and role model is actually the person that killed her father? Wow. That would have been cray-cray. But I wasn't thinking that throughout the show. Obviously, as I put there, eye color doesn't match, the nose is different. The literal only similarities is its shortish hair, a young girl, and that is interested in Teemo, right? Those are the only similarities. So I'm not saying that this is what it was, but it very much could have been if they wanted to. But I feel like I don't know, maybe maybe each arc was written by different people, or the general ideas of the arcs were written by different people, because it felt like there was so much investment into what was going on with Isha and Jinx, and then it just was thrown to the wayside with no real I don't know how to put it, no real good things, anything, just anything good with the character. No, forget it. We'll just throw away, cast her aside. I'm very annoyed by it. This is why Isha is first, by the way, because what they did to her probably annoys me the most. But you never know. As each character comes up, I might get more and more annoyed. Okay, so she sacrifices herself and then is quickly moved on from with little to no impact to Jinx or the story. So I've said this a few times, and some people have come back to me and gone, well, look, Jinx, she becomes depressed. She becomes really, really sad, and she wants to end her life. Well, yeah, she does. She does for about 5 minutes. And then she has one conversation with Eko, who, remember, in this universe, last time they saw each other, they were trying to kill each other. Jinx literally blew him up, and they were in a fight to the death. And she has one conversation with this guy, and then she's fine. Not only is she's fine, she's willing to go and save Piltover and save Vi and do all of these things that a totally sane individual would do, right? Not a insane, manic individual who's just had their, weight, their lens removed in Isha. No, just gets a little bit, I'm a little bit sad, and, maybe I'll blow myself up a few times, but, Eko's got some really good points, so maybe, maybe I'll just, what was the point of any of that, guys? What was the point of any of that? So, all of that set up for Jinx to go crazy, and she's literally fine. She is fine within 5 minutes of Isha dying. It is insane to me. It is such a waste. Such an absolute waste, man. Let's see if we had anything else on this one. We did. We had one more. Oh, that is correct. So, now that it's said and done, and it's over, so Isha sacrifices herself, in a way that doesn't make much sense at all. So, did she even know what she was doing when she did it? So, it really begs the question, because you watch the scene a few times, and the big kind of setup to her being able to do this sacrifice is, as they're entering Victor's camp, she steals 2 Hextech gemstones from Vi's gauntlets. Now, yes, she's a thief. She's got sticky fingers. We see that multiple times throughout the show. I don't have an issue with that. I just kind of have an issue with how the heck did she know that she needed to steal those, right? Because let's think about it for a moment. So she sees the Hextech gauntlets are there, and she knows the gemstones are in there, and they're valuable. So she steals them. And she's a kid, so she's not too bright, right? But surely she'd realise that after stealing them, once they're done here, Vi is going to come back for those gauntlets and go, where the heckums are my Hextech gemstones? Why aren't me gauntlets working? Yeah, it's so... Obviously, Isha only does it because she needs them for the scene coming up, which is bad. That's bad writing. There is no actual reason for her to do that. And if it's she's got sticky fingers, she likes to steal stuff, sure. But as I mentioned, kinda dumb to steal something that you'll be caught of over, within a day or less. Basically when they leave, she's gonna get caught. So why steal them? Does she know? Has Jinx told her that, if you put too many of these crystals together, they have a really bad reaction? Jinx doesn't seem the type to just have this chit-chat conversation about what happened when she was a child to her adoptive father when she was trying to save them and accidentally blew everybody up. Maybe she joked about it, and maybe Isha picked up on that. But do bear in mind, this relationship they've had has literally only been a few months max, maximum. So there are still quite a few elements where she is technically almost a stranger. It hasn't been a long time. But yeah, so she steals the gemstones, she shoves them into her gun, into Jinx's gun, and then she fires it into the air. So... but she's having memories of Jinx, and she's getting emotional, tears are running out her eyes. So it seems like she knows what she's doing. It seems like she knows she's going to go and sacrifice herself, which incredibly morbid for a child, but whatever. But it begs the question, How does she know any of that? Again, the only thing I can think of is because I don't accept that Jinx would just straight up tell her these things. I would accept that Jinx has made plenty of jokes about it, and maybe Isha has inferred this, but yeah, it just seems where the the horrible thing that happens in season 1 episode 3 when Powder comes and quote unquote saves the day makes perfect sense. There's not a tiny piece there that makes it not fit or makes you go, oh, that's a bit contrived, but I like it. It works. It's perfect. Whereas this, the moment happens, it's emotional and sad, and then you watch it again and you think about it for 2 seconds, and you think, oh wait, no, this actually makes no sense at all. How does she know that this is going to happen? Does she know that this is going to happen? Does she think she's running into Vander and then like shooting a gun in the air to be like, oi oi gov, I'm just your average Brexit geezer, yeah? But I don't like all this fighting. Like, is that what she's trying to do? Or, I don't know. I don't think, well, obviously, we're not going to get any answers on that. So, all we can do is surmise and guess and wonder. Which I don't like doing when a show is finished. It's fun to guess when we have another season coming, but the show's done, you know? Who cares? Me! I care, god damn it. Alright, next character. Who have we got? Ah, of course. The Heimerdinger. Oh, just 2 seconds, please, mein friends. Alright, no troubles. Here we go. The Heimerdinger monster. Wowie zowie. So let's bring a picture of him in here. What are we thinking? Heimerdinger, aka Engelbert Heimerdink. So if you if you don't know the joke, that is a singer, and that is all I'm going to say about Engelbert Heimerdink. Now, I have some real big issues with Heimerdinger in season 2. I cannot believe what they decided to do with this character. Well, I say character in quotation marks because he was a character in season 1, and then he turned into a bit of a clown, and then he disappeared, and then he died. What? What? Okay, alright, okay. So, perfectly what I said. So, he's turned into a clown in episodes 1 and 3. So, if you've seen my breakdown, I mentioned this in the breakdown. I thought it was absolutely cringe and horrible that they presented Heimerdinger in such a clownish, daft fashion. You can have humour off him. He often was a point of humour in season 1, but they never turned him into a clown to make the jokes work. The jokes just worked because they were well written. So he's turned into a clown, and then he disappears for 3 episodes, and the whole time I'm thinking, ooh-wee, I can't wait to see what Heimerdinger and Eko have been up to when they come in and save the day. Well, we see what he's been up to when we get to episode 7, and he dies. Yeah, he dies. He's dead. And there's a few things to talk about there, but it's a bullet point, so we'll get there. So, Heimerdinger fears Hex tech, but he happily introduces it into this alternate world, which is absolutely perfect and amazing, and everybody's so peaceful and loving, and everyone's having such a great time because Hex tech doesn't exist. Along with a couple other things that don't exist, right? But it seems a little bit odd that someone who is so fervent against the idea just happily introduces it. This isn't. Now, I know what you're thinking. He says, look, I need to help my student. I let Jayce down, and this is another student who I'm not going to let down. I get that. I get that. But this isn't some school project, right? This isn't Hextech's already been made and they're trying to perfect it, or they're trying to make something of Hextech. No, 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 no. This is introducing it into the world. What are we doing, Jaime? Jaime, my brother in Christ. You literally say yourself that the world is friggin' fantastic because Hextech ain't a thing. Oh, I'm just going to introduce it to the world anyway. Who cares? Consequences. I'm dead, so whatever. So, look, he happily sacrifices not only himself, but this alternative world's Heimerdinger. Lest we forget, our Heimerdinger has taken over the body of this universe's Heimerdinger, and they are two completely separate and different people. Yeah, they are not the same individuals, and it is insane to think that they are. They have completely different life experiences because of small events that's happened in history. It's like that butterfly effect thing. Yeah, a teeny tiny little change back there can make a world of difference over here. So he happily sacrifices not only himself but this alternate world's Heimerdinger. He literally takes over his body and kills him. Now, there have been a lot of people that have been like, well, look, Yordles are actually, they have immunity. They can live forever. If they die, they just go back to the spirit realm. Look, I've played League of Legends, alright? I know these things. The trouble is, this show has not set up or had not even a singular line of dialogue about Yordle immunity or the spirit realm. The only times they've even had slight reference to that is when Heimerdinger talks about his old age, how long he's lived. That doesn't mean he's immortal. That doesn't mean that there's the spirit realm that he zippity-zaps onto if anything bad happens. That just means that he lives for quite some time. If you're going to be, doing something really dumb, like killing Heimerdinger in this fashion, maybe you want a line of dialogue of like, hey, I've lived for hundreds of years because I used to be in the spirit realm, and old Corky, I was having a little bit of a good time with Corky, and I fell out of the play. Literally anything. Because the trouble is, and I've said it before in my video, I watch this with people that know nothing about League of Legends, right? They don't know any of these things, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that watch this show that are like that. And when you don't set up things like Yordle immunity or the spirit realm, well, when a character dies, I think it's quite easy to assume that the audience is going to think that they're dead. Yeah? And when you don't set up anything at all, even referencing anything at all, then as far as the show is concerned, they are dead. Yeah? So, I get it. League of Legends fans get it. But I feel the general viewer or watcher is just going to think, well, okay, so he sacrificed himself so Eko can get back to the normal world. Cool. That's cool. Well, it's pretty awful, actually. It's not cool in the slightest. Because here's another thing, right? If the spirit realm exists and our Heimerdinger has taken over the body of this universe's or this alternate parallel dimension's Heimerdinger, is that two Heimerdingers now in that dimension's spirit realm? Or is like the spirit realm a singular entity branching out into multiple dimensions? If you wanted people to not think that your character is dead, maybe you should have put that in the show. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me spitballing here. I thought it was bizarre. And there's no thought at all. It's bizarre to me that there's zero thought put into the idea that Heimerdinger has killed this alternate world's Heimerdinger, right? That seems really awful. Like, really, really selfish and awful. These are completely separate people with their own lives, their own experiences, and yeah, I'm just going to take over your body, plug a cable together, and zap myself into ashes. Like, dude, what? I when that scene happened, when he zip zapped away, dude, I actually nearly shat myself. Like, I was so angry. I couldn't believe that the show would do that. And again, had they had one little tiny little baby line about being, oh, you know, the spirit realm and blah blah blah, but no, we didn't get any of that. Oh dear. So yeah, I just thought it was really funny that Heimerdinger goes from this very interesting character with a couple layers. They turn him into a clown, and then he turns into a international global superstar, and then he's dead. Which I do just want to say, by the way, I cringed beyond, beyond belief. I cringed when I realised that Heimerdinger was singing the song that was playing in the background of episode 7. For a moment, I thought, oh, that's cool. They got the voice actor for Heimerdinger to sing a song because he's probably like a good singer. That's cool. And then I quickly realised that, no. That's actually Heimerdinger singing a friggin' song. Oh my god. They turned him into a hippy-dippy loser, bro. And yeah, look, he's like all peace loving. I love the fact that he's like invented these instruments. Obviously, that's super cool. But yeah, like, to me, and this was my experience of the season, they turned him into a clown to laugh at. They disappear him. They turn him into a bit of a hippy-dippy, oh, I'm loving it, and then he's dead. And we don't get anything else from him. Super lame. Super lame, guys. Like, between Isha and Heimerdinger, those two characters alone, the things that's happened to them was enough to kind of spoil and bitter the season for me. But the sad reality is, and we'll get to it, it kind of happens with a lot of characters, like nearly all of them. At the start of this stream, I said that this will probably only go for half an hour. And we are at half an hour, and I'm on to the second slide. So, let's muscle right on, shall we? Next friggin' character, Vander. Vander and Warwick. Man, this killed me. This absolutely killed me. AKA, I make you cry, then I make you sigh. Because that's exactly what happened to me, man. I was waiting for with bated breath for Vander to come back as Warwick. Since episode 1, season 1, Vander was introduced as the Hound of the Underground, which is Warwick's tagline. So, any League fan, anyone that's played the game really can kind of put 1 and 2 together. So, second season, we are waiting to see him, and he finally comes. And not only is Warwick, in my opinion, presented very well and very cool, because they lean into like the horror and the fear aspect of it, but then Vander is also treated very, very well. As I said in my breakdown, there were multiple times with the Vander, especially the, like, Remember Me music video section where it's like Young Powder and Vi and they're like boxing and stuff. I was a mess when that stuff was happening because I love Vander. I love the character and the family dynamic. I was waiting for it, and for me it paid off very, very well. Until it didn't, until it turned to absolute shit. So, let's have a chat about it, shall we? So, yeah, we basically spend 3 episodes, almost in full, 3 episodes bringing Vander back to the fray, right? Going from Warwick to a bit of both, to Vander's kind of starting to gain control back of his body. And then he just turns into a mindless drone in the last episodes, and then is quote-unquote killed, right? So why bother even bringing the characters back, yeah? Was it for the cheap emotional payoff in that second arc, which absolutely got me? It absolutely got me. I adored every second of Vander and Warwick in the third arc. And then, yeah, what do we do with all that? What do we do with all that time spent? Oh, yeah, he dies. You know, his memory's gone. He's become a mindless drone, and then he dies again. What? No friggin' way. Like, there's a lot of theories granted, there's lots and lots of theories about what's happening after the show. I don't care. We can talk about that later, right? I don't care about theories of what's happening next. The show is done, yeah? Arcane is 1 season, and then 2 seasons, and then it's done. Anything that comes after, it's whatever, yeah? It's a new thing, and they could have just come up with it. If you want, if you want things to work in your season, guys, you have to put it in your season. Yeah, you have to actually write it. Yeah, otherwise it ain't gonna make any friggin' sense. Oh caramba! So yeah, I felt like a lot of wasted time with Vander and Warwick. It was setting up such great stuff, and then it just ended up being a waste. Because yeah, look, he just turned into a mindless drone that just attacked. Who cares? I certainly do. Oh. Okay, so so Powder blows up Vander for him to be presumed dead for like a season, for him to return as Warwick, for Jinx to blow him up again. It's poetry, it rhymes. Ooh. Like, guys, seriously, if this was what they were hoping to achieve, like, oh, Powder blows up Vander, and then Jinx blows up friggin' Warwick. Whoa! Nah, guys. Yikes. Super cringe. Plus, there's all the... I know I just mentioned it, but there's so many people that are like, well, Jinx is alive. Jinx is alive. Jinx is alive. We're going off what we see. We'll talk about Jinx when we get to the Jinx frame, okay? As far as I'm concerned, Vander and Warwick have been blown to oblivion. Oh. That's a little bit... Anyway. Blown to oblivion. And to me, I just felt this was super cringe. Like, again, I put it's poetry, it rhymes, because that's a joke to me, right? It's a joke. Powder blows him up. He's gone. We finally get him back. And then he's turned into a drone and then blown up again. Wow. How creative, guys. And yeah, I thought, look, I don't know if you guys noticed this or care about this at all, but I absolutely hated his look, man. And I'm sorry, I may have spelt Galio a little bit wrong, but yeah, they like turned him into this bizarre Galio looking dude, and I honestly feel that was just to sell a skin, which I really didn't expect Arcane to be doing that, yeah, to be kind of drastically changing a character's visual to sell a skin. No, lame. And yeah, like, he looks like this just stone gargoyle, right? Instead of like the Warwick, like a werewolf. I don't know. I really didn't like the look that they went with. I'm sure there are plenty of people that like it and think it makes sense with the Victor stuff. Sure, absolutely fine. I wasn't too hot on it though, and yeah, that's just me. Alrighty. Let us move right along to our next character. Because, yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on Vander and Warwick. Vander breaks my heart every time I think about him, so I'm just going to move right along. Okay. Now we get to some real friggin' cringe, y'all. So the task force, yeah, aka the Elven A-Team. Now, if you haven't seen my Rings of Power breakdowns, I give Rings of Power a lot of shit, because that little Elven A-Team, that Elven task force that Galadriel and Elrond put together, was like marketed as this big thing, and then it turns out they're actually a bunch of non-character cringe lords, half of which end up dead. So I thought, you know, when they introduced this task force in Arcane, I thought, oh, cheeky little tee-hee for the people that have seen it. I'll call them the Elven A-Team. That was meant to be ironic, but it turns out it was more accurate than I ever imagined it could have been. So... The task force, aka the Elven A-Team, were introduced, then sidelined with little to no development or dialogue, even, just for like most of them to end up dead, right? So as I just mentioned, like, I called them that as a joke, as a haha. Arcane is going to show Rings of Power what to do when you introduce a like little team of characters, but no, they literally they literally treated it as poorly as Rings of Power did, which blows my mind. How can you be that pathetic that you are on par with Rings of Power? Oh my god. Anyway. Oh yeah, plus Steb. I almost forgot about him. I mean, I think most people almost forgot about him. Who is Steb? Oh, it's the blue guy. It's the fish man. You know, if you didn't know. Yeah, most people most people just call him Fish Guy because they don't even know his name. So, child, this fella, this young lady who ends up not being a child, oh, that's cringe, is, so two things are going on with that character, yeah? We have two situations. So she's either a plant from Noxus, which is one thing that we can talk about, or she's turned on her home and her people because her girlfriend had eyes for someone else. Surely not. Right? Surely she's a plant. Surely she has always worked for Noxus. She's an Ambessa plant and somehow, some way, managed to sneak on by the Piltover security. We will get to that. That's in Caitlyn's little slideshow slide. So we'll talk about that when it comes up. But what I do want to talk about is the other point, which is, of course, the most ridiculous and probably the least likely point, but it's a point anyway. My God, if it is the case that this dumb little kid decided, oh, you know what, I'm going to not only betray my government, my people, my home, but my entire world to Noxus and the Robos enslavers, just because my girlfriend has an ex that she's still interested in. Are you joking? That, as I said, that is the ridiculous side, right? I don't believe that's the case, because that would not only be beyond character assassination for this character that we literally know nothing about, but it would be just ridiculous. Like it would be unbelievable. So that's why I want to mention it now, because I don't think that's the case, but I just want to put it out there because it is the cringest thing in the world. Oh yes, I'll sacrifice humanity to this chaos robot lord because, oh, my girlfriend has eyes for someone else. Oh, no. We'll just go with she's a Noxian plant, okay? And that will bring up issues when we get to Caitlyn's thing, so we'll just stick with that for now, okay? By golly. So you're going to start to notice some self-censored swearing because I was getting more and more annoyed as this went on. So who the heckums is Steb? Seriously, who is this guy? Yeah, he's just some blue fella, just some fishy looking guy with two batons. That's his thing. He's a baton guy. No dialogue. Nothing. Now, is it okay to have very, very minor side characters? Absolutely. I'm not saying that these characters need to have this big, even anything. The trouble is they marketed these characters. This team was part of the marketing. That's why I'm ripping it like Rings of Power. Rings of Power, the Elven A-team, were part of the marketing like they were something. These guys were not something. They were introduced, they were forgotten about, and then they were murdered. Cringe, man. But yeah, who is even Steb? Loris, bro. Hilarious. Loris is on screen. He has a chitty chat with Vi. He has a couple lines of dialogue, and then he gets blatted. Dude. Who are you, Loris? Why are you here? What is going on? Why do you care more about Vi than Piltover security? Why... When he died, I laughed. I don't think they were wanting that, right? You wouldn't set up a character to be tragically shot during a battle for the audience to laugh at, right? Dude, I don't know what they were thinking. Why did they not just make him proto-precursor Braum? Seriously. Like, he's literally Braum. Just say, oh, I'm from a very snowy place, and then he's Braum. It's so simple, but no, he's Loris. Actually, he's Loris, and he's dead. Does anybody care? Nope. Oh dear. So yeah, I just put at the end, like, I made fun of Rings of Power for doing this with the Elven A team. And look, I just can't believe that I have to do it for Arcane. I never thought that was going to happen. I thought Rings of Power was the epitome of amateur, miserable writing. But here we are, pointing out the very, very same thing for these guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Moving right along. Who have we got next? Oh, it is LeBlanc. Now, so, I just want to quickly point out, this piece of artwork is from Nikotari, or Nikotari, aka LeCaren. Now, the funny thing is, the reason why I wanted to pause here quickly, this one piece of fan art is better than anything we get to see from LeBlanc. Because we don't get to see LeBlanc. They couldn't even show us. No, she has to play in her illusions, and that's cool. I talk about it in my breakdown. I love that she's doing that. But can we at least see her, like, a little bit? Like, just a tiny bit? Like, again, this amazing piece of fan art looks 10 times better than that friggin' shadow monster or whatever. Anyway, LeBlanc, she's only around for a few minutes, so I only have a very, very small minor problem. And yes, LeBlanc is LeCaren, and we'll find out why. So, LeBlanc is over 1,000 years old. She's older than Noxus itself. She's a super powerful sorceress, and she's the leader of the Black Rose Society. And she's played by Mel. By Mel. Look, I don't want to sound silly, right? Mel, or insulting, of course. Mel is a very intelligent character. I'm not saying that she's not. She's very smart, very wise, very intelligent and tactful and resourceful. But so is LeBlanc. That's the issue, yeah? Mel is just some lady, right? Some very powerful, very intelligent lady. LeBlanc has everything over her. She has the age, the wisdom, the power, and she gets played by some normal ass person. Normal in quotation marks. Yes, Mel has magic. I'm talking normal as in Mel isn't 1,000 years old and she's not like Swain levels of, she's just some person. LeBlanc is not just some person, yeah? She's proper, and she gets played by Mel, who's just some lady. What? How are you the leader of the Black Rose Society if you can just get so easily played by some person? Blew me brain apart. I was really, really looking forward to LeBlanc, and I thought all throughout the show, the small parts that we got of her tricking Mel was brilliant. Loved it. Until Mel, plays her, tricks her, and basically beats her. Like, lame. Super lame. Super lame to me. I'm sure a lot of people don't really care because it's such a minor character. But again, for someone that's played like thousands of hours of League of Legends, when you see these small hints of characters early on, you're like, you get a million ideas of what they can do with those characters because you know the characters, you know what they're capable of. And then it just turns out to be real lame. That's alright. And yeah, I mean, I just mentioned it, but you really just couldn't show her? Come on, guys. I want to see that beautiful French face, huh? That beautiful 1,000-year-old French face. And yeah, she's LeCaren because she's forever wanting to speak with Noxian management. But she never can do it. Poor girl. It would drive anyone mad, really, wouldn't it? Alright. I'm not going to spend too long here because, like, I don't want to tarnish Silco's name. He's my favourite character from Season 1. He is Le Bon, the best, but not even he's immune to this issues with Season 2, unfortunately. Yeah, so I just thought, oh, the misery. I don't want to clown Silco again. I'm not going to meme him because he's the man. So let's just point out some things, all right? So early on, especially in the show, most if not all reference to him was about how he did nothing or he was wrong. Mainly talking about Savika and Jinx whenever they talk about her. Yeah, oh, he didn't do anything, and I actually did everything, and da 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 da. And there wasn't a singular moment where they thought, well, actually, there's like a civil war going on in the lanes because Silco died. But no, he does nothing, and we do everything. I hated that. That's so cringe, guys. You can have that kind of dialogue if you have the realization later on that those characters are wrong in saying that, but that doesn't happen. It doesn't. Silco is just looked upon in retrospect as a failure. Why are you doing that to my boy? Why are you doing that to my best boy? Whoa. Yeah, this... Okay, so... potentially could have turned into a good dude due to maybe finding a letter. No. This is where we start to get into some really big issues here, because for a character like Silco, especially, let's say most, if not all, villains, if you're being villainous, you're doing evil things, but let's say you think you're doing it for the right reason or whatever it is, if there is one or two very, very minor things that could have happened to change your mind, to turn you from a villain into, say, a good, peaceful guy, then you are paper thin, yeah, as a character. What they do with things like this is they take a very layered and, to me, incredible character and make him absolutely paper thin by saying, oh, well, if he found this letter, oh, maybe he could have found forgiveness. So, mainly referring to episode 7, Silco, here. So, and this is a big if, I've had some discussions with people about this, so granted, this is a big if. But if the only differences in the world for episode 7 are there are no Hextech, Heimerdinger supports Zorn for a few years. Remember, he's been there for over 1,000 days. He is a council member, so he has a lot of power, and he has vested interest in the safety and security of Zorn. So that would be a few years of, hey, let's get rid of all these chem barons, and let's actually make sure the people have a good time. Yeah. And Vidying. Let's not forget the most pivotal part of that timeline, Vidying. So if those 3 things are enough for Silco to find forgiveness, yeah, and let's add the letter, so let's make it 4. If those 4 things are enough to change Silco so much that he goes from a schemer in the shadows who is willing to kill children, use child slavery to get his way. Remember, he hires children to work in drug factories. He's willing to kill children. He's willing to sacrifice so much for the unification of Zorn. If those 3 or 4 things happened, all of that is gone. He's ruined. And I am so confused as to how you can manage that. How you can manage to take a brilliant villain, an incredibly well-written and interesting and layered villain, and turn him paper thin by saying, oh, well, what if this happened, this happened, this happened? Oh, well, I actually managed to find forgiveness. It's the best thing we could do. Piss off. What a joke. What a joke. Obviously, as I said, there's granting a few things, but absolutely cringe if that's the case, yeah? And, yeah, look, I mean, I've seen this come up on my timeline, and every time it does, I want to, end my suffering. The Silco and Vander shipping, look, if you want to play pretend in your mind and go, oh, that's so cute, I love Silco and Vander, that's fine, yeah, but the show actually gave ship bait. So then people can make videos and ship them. Guys, why? Why? Why are we doing this? Oh, because like season 2 is for the shippers. If we haven't realized that, it's very important. You'll have a much better time watching the show if you realize that so at least 1 or 2 writers that work on the Arcane staff are like basically shippers. Yeah, they go online, they like, oh, people like these two, and then they ship them in the show, but not officially, right? They just have the odd little shot or sequence where they can go, oh yeah, the shippers are gonna love that. And I hate that. I really do. I'm not saying that the show is shipping them. I'm just saying that there's ship-worthy stuff. And that's cringe, man. That's super cringe. Moving right along, because I don't want to talk about Silco anymore. He's my boy, and it hurts my feelings just to think about what happened to him this season. Ambessa and Noxus. Alrighty. Surely, I mean, there can't be much wrong with Ambessa and an entire kingdom, right? Well, let's have a chat about it. So, Ambessa, aka Subtlety. Again, if you watch my breakdowns, you will understand that I find pretty much everything to do with Ambessa to be just poorly put together. Poorly put together. I like a little bit of subtlety in my shows, yeah? If you have a character that goes, like let's say you have a character that says, oh my gosh, I can't believe these people have attacked this place. Who would have possibly done that? And then the show cuts to, say, Ambessa going, who could have done that? Like, guys, it's so shit. Obvious. It's so obvious who's done it. And you constantly do it throughout, especially the first few episodes. It is constant. Like, every single shot or everything that Ambessa does is super sus. Why? Why did you have to present it like that? Why could we not have a little bit of intrigue, yeah? As I say, a little bit of subtlety in the show. People like that, no? So yeah, zero subtlety throughout the show. Her plans are super obvious. And frankly, she goes from an intimidating force to an easily fooled amateur. Like, do you remember how she was introduced season 1? She was a friggin' gangster, man. Like, she was no one was going to mess with Ambessa, right? No one was going to mess with Ambessa. And then slowly throughout season 2, not only her, but her Noxian guard and her forces just slowly get lamer and lamer and lamer and weirder and cringer and just so shit. Like, literally, for lack of a better word, so shit. So let's talk about it, yeah? So her forces are outwitted by a child. Isha literally outwits Rictus, a security checkpoint of Piltover security, and the Noxian guard. Like, and we have to assume that this has happened a few times. This hasn't happened once. We have to assume this has happened more than once. And y'all can't capture a child? Really? Your entire Noxian guard can't do knuck about a little kid running around? She's got time to set up fireworks and paint explosives and put something in the loudspeaker that plays music, but oh gee willikers, we really can't figure out what's up with this little kid. Really? See, I thought Noxus was meant to be like an intimidating force. I thought that they were able to easily take over civilization after civilization with pretty much no pushback at all until they met Demacia. Oh, but here we are, seeing them come into Piltover, who is shown to have the worst security, literally, in all of Runeterra. Like, anyone seems to be able to do anything, and and they get trolled by a child? Oh, dude. Like, seriously, no wonder Swain is just watching with his friggin' ravens, bro. Like, he is just... like, he's watching a cringe fail compilation through his ravens. Like, he's following Ambessa and the Noxian guard around, and it's literally just the title is Cringe Compilation, Epic Fails, and it's just everything she does this season. like... if he was actually interested in anything that had to go on, he'd do something about it. He's a powerful brother. Swain is a powerful guy. But nah, he's just watching the Ambessa cringe compilation. My god. Alright. This, it's not a huge thing, but I thought it was absolutely hilarious that Ambessa is being hunted by magic users, and then teams up with a magic user. Yeah. So, there wasn't like a singular moment, Ambessa, where you thought, I am being hunted by the Black Rose Society, a group of incredibly powerful sorceresses and magic users. And wow, this Hex Tech Jesus fellow is using Hex Tech to heal people. That's kind of like magic, isn't it? Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, there's no... there's not even a line of dialogue about, like, we need to prepare just in case this Victor guy is another agent of the Black Rose Society. No, I'm just going to team up and literally hand over basically my soldiers to you to do your plan. Like, Ambessa, is you stupida? What the heck? Yeah, it's very cringe to me. I thought, oh, sorry, I just knocked me computer. I thought very, very bizarre, yeah, that you literally crux your character around fighting and being hunted by magic users, and then, oh yeah, I'll just do whatever this magic user wants and teams up with them. What? Alright. Yeah, look, this is another very minor thing. I don't think it's friggin' show-shattering, but I do think it's hilarious that multiple times throughout Season 2 we're shown that she's very competent against magic, and then she's beaten by Mel using magic. Come on. Yeah, it was a 2v1, but Caitlyn wasn't. Like, there's a lot of nonsense in that last fight, which I'll save a lot of it for the breakdown when we get to it. But yeah, I just thought it was so funny. Like, she's shown to be super competent fighting magic users, and then loses to one. Okay, that makes sense. What's this here? I guess Swain is interested in Hex Tech to use... yeah. So, it's another kind of just interesting thought I had while I was writing this down. So, Swain is interested potentially in Hex Tech to use against the coming darkness that he sees. He's always preparing for the coming darkness. But, if Ambessa is part of the coming darkness, as LeBlanc says, why not stop Ambessa? Because my interpretation of it is what LeBlanc is warning about, and what Swain fears is potentially Ambessa teaming up with Victor, taking over Piltover, and then all of Runeterra with his robo zip zap dippity doo boys, yeah? That's quite a coming darkness, right? So if that is the case, granted it's an if, but if that is the case, and Swain is watching, keeping an eye on things, making sure maybe it doesn't happen, as to why, maybe that's why he's checking the shell of Victor at the end, or he's like, yo, I want this Hex Tech because this coming darkness is going to be real dank and we're going to need some Hex Tech robo boys. Either way, it just felt like it was this thing where he could have easily taken over when he sees everything is turning to stinky poo-poos. Unless the show is trying to say that everything's gone to how he was hoping it would, and he doesn't need to step in, right? Because the confirmation that Swain is the Ravens means that Swain has been watching this entire time, and even when Noxus fails and fails and fails and fails, he does nothing. He doesn't reinforce them, doesn't do anything. So, like, Ambessa is just somewhat, like, rogue general doing her own thing? I don't know. It doesn't seem right, but maybe that's what the case is. It's always possible. Anything's possible, really. So, this is more, of course, about the Noxian military, right? But, yikes. So, a bunch of chem-addicted goons with makeshift weapons go toe-to-toe with the Noxian military. What? In the final fight, when the friggin' Zornites come in and, like, almost, like, turn the tide of the battle, I was laughing like friggin' crazy, man, because that was so cringe. Really, a bunch of chem addicted bums coming in with friggin' Molotov cocktails and metal pipes against the military. Not only the military, but the Noxian military. These crazy people that are meant to be able to just, again, I've said it before, but they are meant to be able to just, look, stomp over everybody. They can stomp over it was only Demacia that stood against them, yeah? It was the first time in Noxian history that any civilization managed to stand against them. Oh, until now, I guess, until the Zornites and the Zornites and the Piltover bloody Brexit geezers showed up, you know? Like, get out of here, man. It's so stupid. You can't use a nation like Noxus, use a military like the Noxian military, and have them, like, just made chumps out of by a bunch of chem-addicted goons from Zorn. No. Silly. Very, very silly to me. Very, very silly to me. Oh. And that's Ambessa and Noxus. So who have we got next? Oh, Vi. Well, there's nothing wrong with Vi. She's such a great character throughout the entire season. Wow. Yeah. No, she's really not. So Vi, the butch brain dead broski, and emphasis on brain dead because she does some really, really stupid stuff, yeah? She does some really stupid stuff this season. So she turns into... Yeah, I got a little bit angry writing these notes. She turns into a friggin' moron whenever the plot requires it. It doesn't happen once. It happens multiple times throughout Season 2. And she makes some of the stupidest decisions... She makes some of the stupidest decisions in the show just because the writers couldn't come up with anything better. Like... my videos are up there about some of the stupid decisions that she's made, and look, some people in the comments have disagreed. Absolutely fine, absolutely brilliant that you don't think that some of the things that I've pointed out her doing is, like, super stupid. Fine. But I think they really are, you know. Her deciding, you know, instead of using my Hextech-powered gauntlet with an energy shield... to protect Jinx and Isha from potentially getting shot from Caitlyn, no, I'm just going to stand up and walk over to her and grab her gun, therefore not allowing her to do anything to Silco, who unleashes the Grey into Piltover. Stupid. You know, maybe just remove the child, yeah? I know you've probably seen the video on my channel. Just remove the child, yeah? Pick the child up, and then there's no problems. No, I'm going to stand up, walk me ass right on over to you and grab your weapon so you can't do anything about Silco. It's such terrible writing. Like, the writers needed Silco to do this, and they knew Caitlyn has a gun. So, how are we, like, not gonna make it that Caitlyn can shoot Silco? Oh, I know. Instead of doing the most basic thing, Vi's going to stand up and walk over. Or Vi's going to do something ridiculous, like, oh, I don't know. Steal prison keys, and then release her psychotic sister, who then, by the way, her sister then goes and in an incredibly depressed state tries to end herself while Vi has her rocks off with Caitlyn in her prison cell. Oh, Vi, you're so stupid. Like, I literally thought that scene was in her head. When Vi shows up and is like, I swiped these from the prison guard. I know you're good, da-da-da. Like, when that scene started, I thought, wow, it's just in her head, right? We just saw Silco in her head, so surely Vi saying all this nonsense, it's clearly in her head. And then she unlocks the cell, and it's real, and that's actual Vi, real life Vi, stealing prison keys to release Jinx. Unbelievable. And the writers, the showrunner thinks this season isn't rushed. If you didn't see this, by the way, the showrunner is upset at people that thinks that season 2 is rushed. And I don't know what to say to that. Like, even people who love the season even people who adore this season and think it's a 10 out of 10, even a lot of them agree that some elements, especially in the finale, feel very, very rushed. But the showrunner goes, no, that's cringe. Actually, it's not rushed. It's friggin' perfect. What? No way. No way. You guys don't even realise how rushed your show is? Yikes. That's how did you make season 1 and then make season 2 and think season 2 is good? You had the perfect doubt. Your fans, the people who still thought your show was good, is like, hey, this is just a bit rushed. I still love it, but it's a bit rushed. And he didn't like that. Bruh. Anyway, we're not talking about the showrunner, we're talking about Vi the Dum Dum. Goodness me. Okay. So it goes from being willing to have Jinx killed in front of her to breaking her out of prison, in the most bizarre scene ever. As I had just said, I felt this was the strangest scene I had ever seen. I was confident that this was just in her head because it was such nonsense, like the dialogue, what Vi was doing, the fact that Vi could do it, another etch in the notch of friggin' Piltover's miserable security. God. Sorry, just drinking a small amount of water. Look. And I've said it a couple times in my breakdowns before even watching the final arc. I really thought that one of the things that I wanted to see, like one of the few things that I wanted to see, was Vi and oh shit, that is cringe. I've just noticed what I've done. I've put Vi and Jinx together. Yikes. It's meant to be Vi and Caitlyn. Oh, that's cringe because they're sisters. Please ignore that. That is meant to say Vi and Caitlyn. Sorry. I thought I wanted to see Vi and Caitlyn together. But yeah, honestly, I couldn't care less when it happens. They had the perfect setup. It was something that I wanted to see, and it just turned into super cringe nonsense. Like, again, as I said it in my breakdowns. This is one of the things I wanted to see. I wanted to see them actually get together and be like a thing, be a partnership, be something. But they have that like faux sex scene, which was I felt super cringe. And I feel like I was one of the few people that were like, I'm here for this, I'm ready to see this. And then it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going, and I'm like, well, can we move on, please? We have a show to finish, we have an entire show to finish, but no, we got to get some of that cunnilingus in there. Oh man, and then right at the end, I thought it would be really sweet to see them together, but no. It just felt off. Something didn't feel right, and I was really surprised by that. So yeah, look, the world and especially Zorn would be amazing if only you were dead. Cringe, man, cringe. Sorry, Vi, but that's the reality. The world, Runeterra, Zorn especially, everything would just be a lovely, lovely place if you were dead. Why would they do that? Like, why would they do that? Again, I'm not saying that that's what it is. But that is such an easy thing to infer with the information that was given to you. Oh, if only. If only Vi was dead, especially as a child. If only she died as a young, innocent child, then the world would be okay. Oh, that's pretty bad. Next character, please. Oh, dear. Caitlyn Careyman. The Carrymeister. Goodness me. Caitlyn, aka Empress Empty Brain. Yes, because they're much like Vi, many times throughout this season where Caitlyn has a very empty brain. Oh my goodness. So, her IQ goes up and down like a roller coaster. you know, she's meant to be super competent. She's shown to be super competent, but she can't figure out the most basic stuff. I forgot to censor that word. Whoopsies. Yeah, got very upset when I was writing some of these notes. My apologies. So this is, I feel, noticeable for a lot of people. She goes from very competent, very intelligent, to making one or two incredibly dense and dumb decisions, back to being hyper competent, back to being easily played by other people. Like, make up your mind, guys. Please. She is either an incredibly competent investigator who managed to figure out everything that was being pushed aside and sheltered away by the sheriff in season 1, figuring out that Silco was behind everything, from her bedroom, mind you, and now that she has all the resources in the world, she can't figure anything out. So much nonsense goes on under her nose, with all the power and resources of Piltover. Yes, granted, there are agents within Piltover and Noxus that are working against her. But she also has all of her resources, yeah? She has the Kiriman estate. She has Piltover. If you have agents working against you that are foreign to you, you have your resources, yeah? You are one of the richest people in Piltover, a city filled with super rich people. So what are we doing? Why do you, Caitlyn, who has been both interested in and a enforcer for years now, why do you not have a tight-knit team of individuals that you trust, yeah? That one is, you know, one potentially couldn't be a Noxian plant. Maybe because you've known your team since you were children. You know, instead of having your task force be random people, seemingly random, we should say, obviously they work together, but for us in the show, they are seemingly random because we have not seen them before. It just seems a little bit bizarre. You're so easily played. So yeah, that leads to here. Your hand-picked task force, all three, which I found very bizarre in the show, all three of your hand-picked task force also, like, met Vi just before being picked. It's a little bit odd, but whatever. So that hand-picked team ends up having a Noxian plant. Like, I've said it many times, but the Piltover security is absolutely dreadful. You not only have a Noxian plant, but you like, I feel a lot of people when they watch this show, they just know that, like, Piltover is dumb, security is dumb, anything can happen. Like, this is like, let's say, this is like if Russia put a plant into the president's, like, select committee, right? There was a Russian agent, yeah? But, I'm not saying real world, this is if there was a Russian agent, whilst Russia was on your territory and one of its military leaders was, like, slowly pushing its military into America. It would be like, oh, like, hey, Mel's mum, Ambessa, I appreciate you here. Don't appreciate all the military everywhere, you know? We're gonna have to be a little bit more cautious because... Dude! It's beyond stupid. It's beyond stupid. I think the biggest giveaway to Caitlyn should have been that, oh, this one Piltovan security guard isn't an oi typical Brexit geezer, yeah? Like all Piltovan security seem to be. She was like this. What a great actress she is as well, isn't she? She's this doe-eyed, oh, you're a legend amongst the enforcers. Oh, tee-hee. Oh, Caitlyn, I hope you get some of this minge, Caitlyn. And she's a plant. Cringe. I actually prefer the idea that she just wants to destroy Runeterra and turn everyone into chaos robots because I never mess with a woman scorned, right? Far out. Not great. Yeah, look, dating an underling, super cringe, super forced, It is so obvious that you're going to do something stupid. Like, the only reason you date an underling is because A, you're a creepy, power-hungry male who loves the idea of having power over people, especially much younger women, or you're Caitlyn, yeah? Okay, so it's fine if Caitlyn's doing it when she's one of the richest, most powerful people in the city. She is her boss, her empress, basically. And this also, the fact that a Noxian plant can get this close is just stabbed straight into Caitlyn's intelligence. Because you, Caitlyn, if she was coming on to you and trying to maybe push you into a relationship, you should understand how bad that is. How bad it is to date a co-worker, not only a co-worker, but an underling. But no, she's just going to ignore all of that and just, like, forget about it. So then we can have a little bit of drama later on. Oh my god, how miserable, guys. And yeah, look, some people have disagreed with me on this, but I still stick to it. How on earth did you not find Jinx? She was staying in the same place the whole time, and Smeech found her, like, literally within hours of agreeing to find her. This is nuts. We see potentially months go by of Noxus and Piltover investigating and looking for Jinx. Caitlyn literally has a Always Sunny in Philadelphia style stringed up wall of evidence and information trying to find Jinx, and Smeech, the drug chem addicted rat, finds her with zero issue. Okay, great. Look, I understand there's also the fact that, like, well, you know, they didn't know because it's a super secret place. Well, look, Savika knows, and Isha knows. I'm sorry, I know you like to wish that, oh, Savika would never and Isha would never. I'm sorry, but you've never been tortured. Do you forget that Savika in Season 1 actually hated Jinx and wanted to just throw her to the side? Do you forget that at the end of Season 1, Jinx, like, ties up Savika to the roof and, like clowns her, basically? And then in between seasons, she's suddenly like, oh, actually, I'm not going to sell you out, Jinx. You're our only hope. Help me, Obi Jinx Kenobi. You're my only hope. Like, where did that come from? Seriously, where did that come from? Savika, you should have been more than happy to sell Jinx down the road and try and take over and unify Zorn yourself. But for whatever reason, no. Impossible. She's just such a nice lady. No, she's not. No, she's not. She's in it for herself. She's in it for who's strongest. But then suddenly she becomes a unification leader and, oh, Jinx, you're... Yeah, no, nonsense. And let's talk about Isha. Yes, Isha isn't just going to give away Jinx's position. Of course not. But she's a child. Children can be tricked. Children can be manipulated. You can have a very clever child who accidentally gives you information because you know what you're doing. Yeah, if you're interrogating or investigating or whatever. No. It's even worse, right? Because Isha somehow manages to, like, be on the lam as well from the Noxian military. Like, whatever. Nonsense. So much nonsense all throughout this season with so many characters. It's not a huge thing because, you know, it's a fantasy show. These things happen. But I do think it's very bizarre that you rule Piltover and you're allowed to go on dangerous missions and waste time on police investigation work. You know, you rule Piltover, you have the Kiriman financial empire to run. How do you have time to do anything? So, like, how do you have time to do anything? Yeah, you're meant to be the ruler. You're meant to be one of the richest. So obviously, you have a lot of things that you need to do. Sure, your father can take over some things, but remember, the Kiriman estate is a matriarchy. You are the head woman of the Kiriman family. You are the leader. You are the boss, not the father. So where do you have time to do literally, well, anything? Like, it feels like it's something that should be handed over to a team to deal with. Yeah, but you are leading the investigation. Whatever. Ah, Victor. Well, look at him. Isn't he beautiful? In his Chaos God fashion. So, Victor, aka the Chaos God, beaten by man love. And I don't mean that kind of man love, don't worry. So, in my opinion, they absolutely ruined his look so they could sell some skins, much like with Warwick. I am not very fond of the new Victor look, the Hex Tech look. I think he's awesome. His original look is awesome. The Technomancer. Yeah, like this Darth Vader-esque, walking with a cane, but he's like robot. Like, that's cool. He becomes this weird, ugly Hex Tech. Bleh. Like, the picture, I will say, him in this picture, very cool. You know, when he's in his Aurelian Soul innards, you know, when he's floating around Aurelian Soul. This looks really cool. But yeah, when he's just walking around with his concrete face, mask, whatever that is meant to be, like, it just looks so bad. And in my opinion, they changed it for two reasons. One, so it was a little bit more Hex Tech-ish, and two, so they could sell some friggin' skins, which is so annoying. Super annoying to me. At the very least, like, I got giddy when I heard his voice. Yeah, they got the voice right. Thankfully. But that was it, man. I didn't like the look. I didn't like how yeah. Like, again, that face was so weird. So wrong. And yeah, I just prefer, as I said, I prefer the Technomancer, the tech side, not this Hex Tech shit. It's super lame to me. So this is a biggie, and I'll talk about this a lot more in the final arc breakdown when that video comes. But why? Look, maybe I missed something. There is a high potential that I missed something. But why do you not use your power over time, which is the wizard, to not give Jayce the crystal, or not save him? Then none of this ever happens. Yeah? Kind of silly, right? You show that you, time after time after time, you give him different runes, you give him something slightly different, but the same outcome always comes no matter what you do. The same outcome comes. Well, I'll tell you, Victor, you know, if you don't save that child and he freezes to death with his mother in the snow, none of this is going to happen. Or, you know, you could save him. You could not give him the Hextech crystal, and maybe he never figures it out. Like, those are two super, super basic things that you could do with your incredible power over time somehow. But no. You just continue to do it, and do it, and do it, and do it. Is it that he has to give him something, so then he exists to go back in time and give him something? But then, isn't that what we're trying to prevent here, Mr. White Wizard? The White Wizard is trying to stop Victor, right? Is that the case, or am I missing something? Because if that is the case, then, don't do anything, and the day is saved. It's kind of stupid. Like, that's really, really dumb. I pray I've missed something. Like, please tell me I've missed something. I pray I do, because if it is the case that all he had to do was nothing, bro, dude, stupid. You are meant to be a smart character, and you are estupendo, huh? So, yeah, it goes from an excellent layered character to Techno Jesus to Chaos God in about 5 seconds. I feel a lot of people, when they say that things were really rushed, I feel this is a great example. I don't think a lot of people who have nothing, again, no knowledge of the game, of how Victor is, of what Victor is meant to become, was maybe a little bit blindsided by the sudden change. Like, remember, he's literally going from, I'm not willing to give up Vander, because he is not a test subject. He is a person, and I am going to potentially use up all of my power to save him. He goes from that to, yeah, I'm just going to kill and erase everybody and turn them into these robots. Oh, okay, that's a bit of a change. That's a bit of a leap. But okay. Moving right along, shall we? Goodness me. Is somehow unable to see that imperfection is sometimes a good thing. That's what gets him. That's the line that these writers came up with to perplex this chaos god who can see the infinity and see all. Get out of here! He didn't realize that. The most basic of things that children figure out. Dude, no. He's not that dumb. He's not that dumb. Come on. Yeah, look, he ascends to godhood and then is dumbfounded by a hammerman saying the most basic stuff. Yeah, again, the things Jayce tell Victor are things that children figure out. Oh, you mean that my imperfections make me who I am and make me what I... Dude, Victor didn't know that. No. You mean the crippled, sick child never figured that out? Okay, Dude. Cringe. Big yikes, big cringe, big all sorts. Oh, this, yeah, look, I friggin' loved, I think everybody loved when he said glorious evolution. Even for a few times. The first few times he said it was like, yes, here we go. We're getting there. We're getting to Victor. We're getting to the Victor we know. And then he continues to say it like 10 million more times, and it becomes absolutely tiresome, my boys. It's a cool line. But he only says it all the time because it's a video game with a finite amount of lines to use, yeah? It doesn't have to be part of his vocabulary of every sentence. Cringe, man. You turned a cool line that I was waiting to hear into, like, yeah, like, I dreaded every time he said it because it became so stupid and naff. Jayce. Hammerman. The Hammerman. Mild Jayce. Yeah, mild Jayce. Jayce's backstory, he does some pretty crazy stuff, you know, in his backstory. He does some pretty hard out shit. And they alluded a little bit to it, but he turns into mild Jayce, and it's very sad. I don't have, like, there's not a huge amount to go over with Jayce. I must admit, I have a few annoyances, and there are a few elements where they kind of stabbed at him a bit. But, look, I don't think he's as spoiled as other characters that I've gone over. Oh, whoops. Double dipped there. So, first, everything is basically his fault. Like, obviously, as I've mentioned with Victor, none of it would have happened if Victor just didn't save him. But yeah, it seems like they have just teed him up as, sorry, brother, like, I know you're pushing for progress and ingenuity, but look, my dude, you actually destroyed the world, and your stupidity has polluted Zorn and Piltover. Like, you're a brilliant inventor, but you didn't think of, like, pollution or runoff or anything like that? Okay, fine. And, you know, you're this brilliant innovator, but no, everything's your fault, not Victor's. Yeah, okay. Episode 7, I'm going to go over, obviously, as I've said, I'm going to go over episode 7 with my opinions on it in the breakdown, but just so you are aware, so this makes a little bit more sense, I thought episode 7 was a huge waste of time. I don't care how nice and sweet and lovely it was to see Powder and Vander and Silco and Benzo. I don't care. It was nice to see Clagger and Milo. Yeah. But you are in a season that feels incredibly rushed already. You waste the third to last episode with stuff that could have been dealt with in maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Unbelievable waste. Unbelievable waste. And obviously some miserable things happen, like Heimerdinger getting blizzatted into nothing. That episode blew my brain apart, because again, like the first few minutes when I was watching it, I loved it. I was like, this is what I want to see. This is what I've wanted to see for so long. And then it kept going and kept going and kept going, and it was the entire episode, yeah. Huge waste. So wastes half of an episode in an already very, very rushed season, playing only up. Really? Really, brother? Really? Yeah, you had to play you had to finish your game of only up before you save the day. Fine, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Not rushed at all, and then we just pause for an entire episode. Oi, 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 oi. So it gives us punished Jayce blue balls by immediately flipping him after the Silco wham bam no thanks, man. So yeah, I was after Silco. Silco, bro, Salo. My apologies, guys. I said at the start that this is a very high budget presentation. Obviously, you can see. No. So, Salo. Salo is his name. So, immediately flipping him after the Salo wham bam. No thanks. Man. So, yeah, man. When he killed Salo, I thought, oh, well, he is going to, like, basically do what he does in his canon. He's going to go and confront Victor and mortally wound Victor, and then kill all of the automatons or all of the people that he's saved, right? So that's what I was expecting. I was expecting when that kid shows up and puts his hand out and is like, hey, I'll take you to Victor. I thought he was going to go nuts and kill them all. But no. They wanted mild Jayce. And that's fine. Mild Jayce. Don't give us punished Jayce blue balls though, man. I was so prepared for some craziness with him. You know, as I said in my theories thing, like, you know, what if he was in the void this whole time and he was like fighting day and night, tooth and nail, just to survive, and he's come back to this place and he sees the Hextech void influence on these people that Victor has done, and he just goes around and friggin' executes them all. I would have goomed. But no, he's just a little baby, actually. Yeah, so he saves the day with brotherly love, giving the Jayce and Victor shippers an eternity of content. So we're back to the shipping. I'm not saying, and I don't believe for a moment, that there's anything between Victor and Jayce beyond platonic, right? I view this as I say, like brotherly love, manhood, yeah, brotherhood, partners, genius partners. Yeah, I personally didn't take the ship any form of romance, turning them bi or whatever. The issue is that it's presented in a way that is kind of for the shippers. Do you see what I'm meaning? Like, they at no point to me shipped them, but they gave the shippers everything they wanted, basically without them starting to make out and have rough anal sex, right? Like, and that's really lame. Like, I see that kind of thing has infected Rings of Power and ruined characters and character relationships with Rings of Power, and I absolutely hate seeing it in Arcane, man. They do it with Jinx and Eko, they do it here, they do it with Vander and Silco. What? Like, they constantly do it with so many of these characters. And it's bait. It's shipper bait. It's so people make videos. It's for engagement. It's for numbers. So then they can show the Netflix suits. Oh, look, people are, like, 10 kajillion people watch this friggin'... But, you know, it's fake nonsense. And I feel like if you were a shipper, you should feel annoyed because you're getting played. But whatever. Everyone else watching it just gets frustrated by it because it's just so unnecessary. Super unnecessary. Now we have Jinx. Not a huge amount issue-wise with Jinx, I must admit. There are some small issues. Like a lot of them are just tiny things that I kind of cover in my breakdowns. And again, the breakdown of the final arc will be coming at some point soon. I'm hoping before early to mid next week. Fingers crossed. There's just a lot to talk about, unfortunately. But I feel a lot of that can actually be taken away from doing what I'm doing here with this like live stream. So anyway, moving into Jinx. AKA I'm sane now, and I survived. Tee-hee. Let's just let the show rest for a moment before everyone starts jumping up and down saying, oh, she actually survived, and blah, 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 blah. Let's let the show breathe, guys. Goodness me. Okie dokie. So, Jinx is hiding from a Piltover task force, hunting her down, and she's just, in her usual spot. And she walks around with basically a bed sheet as a disguise. Like, her usual spot is a place she found as a kid as well. So everyone who's like, oh, it's this crazy, super secret, it's so out of the way, and it's this, and it's that, and the other thing. Dude, it's a place she found as a child, and it is not only that, it's a place that's rooted to her character, that so much so that Powder also has set up her workshop here, yeah? So, no. Like, the reality is, you can sit there and say, oh, it's this crazy secret place. It's not. It's not. That's the reality. It's not a crazy super secret place. Yes, there are traps and stuff, which, by the way, she sets up traps to the entrance of her lair when Isha, who is a small child, comes and goes there all the time. That's a little bit dangerous. And Savika also, what happens if you set up a trap that she doesn't know about and she's coming in to tell you something and friggin' dies? Yeah. Not smart. Not a good plan. Not a good plan, guys. Yeah. How was she not found? Ridiculous. Isha acts as her lens, keeping the voices and insanity at bay. But when Isha dies, yeah, look, she just gets sad. And then she has a chat with Eko and is perfectly fine. And she's ready to fight alongside Vi and save Piltover. What? No. No. She's literally sad for 2 scenes, guys. There are a lot of people who got a little bit upset when I said that Isha was done dirty and was a wasted character with a wasted sacrifice, who said, oh, but Jinx gets real sad, and Nah, she actually doesn't, guys. She gets a bit sad, she gets a bit depressy-expressy, and the reality is it can't have affected her that bad if one conversation with Eko solves everything. And she's all up and at him, and I'm gonna go fight and stand back to back with my sister and say, I'm always with you, sir. Like, nah. Ridiculous. Absolutely. The bare minimum was not achieved, and the bare minimum was taking Jinx from what she was between episodes 1 and 6 and changing her back to the Jinx that we know. They couldn't do that. They couldn't even achieve that, and for what? Why? What did it achieve, guys? Nothing. It achieved nothing. Super cringe. Yeah, like, really. She gets over her shattered psyche and her schizophrenia after a chat with Eko. Like, guys, honestly, I'm going to be really real. This isn't the channel for me to get real. I like to joke and entertain, but the reality is that this is incredibly insulting to people that are depressed, to people that suffer from schizophrenia, to people with fractured mental states, to people that are actually wanting to end their life. This is so insulting, because let's not forget, Eko in this world isn't Jinx's boyfriend. They aren't friends. They aren't even close anymore. There was an entire scene dedicated to showing us that last season. This is a person who comes up to you, who last you saw you were trying to kill, who was trying to kill you, who you blew up That's the last interaction you had with them. Now you're so depressed that you're trying to end everything, and this person shows up and is the one that can stop it? Nah. Really, really insulting to people with actual, like, fractured mindsets and stuff. Like, if it was someone they loved and cherished, if it was maybe Vi, maybe, but Eko, nah. Like, that's like having Caitlyn show up. That's like Caitlyn shows up and gives her a little heart-to-heart and she's suddenly fine. I don't believe it. All the character development that happened between Eko and Powder in episode 7, though that's a completely different character. You can't attribute that to anything that our Jinx has. Like, they are two separate individuals and two separate timelines. So sorry, but Eko showing up going, hey babes, let's have a chit-chat. Please don't kill yourself. You're too sexy, haha. You know, like, that meme, like, that doesn't work. They don't have that relationship. Powder and Eko in an alternate universe have that relationship, yeah? Moving on. Ridiculous. Stop shipping them. It's gross. It's really gross. Mel. Magic Mummy Mel. Yeah, so Mel, I'm magic now. So, like, Mel, season 1, was a very interesting character. She was just a normal person. Normal, hyper-intelligent, hyper-talented person. Now she has magic, I guess, whatever. So, yeah, she has a latent magical ability that has the power to read the script and only activate when she's in actual danger. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's okay that she has this magical ability. It's fine. It makes sense. Da, 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 da. Well, I'm sorry, but we have 2 extra scenarios that we see in the show. There could be multiple more, but there are 2 scenarios that come to mind. A, Mel is smacked in the face with a flare gun and has it pointed at her face. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if someone pulls a trigger of a gun, you got to have some pretty riggin' quick reactions to pop off a shield to protect yourself, yeah? Like, why was there no activation there? I know some people have noticed, look, things get a little bit wishy-washy when it happens and then it stops. But it only stops because her magical ability can read the script and knows that he's about to point the gun up and shoot a flare in the sky, you know? And it's only done so they can keep the mystery. Very silly that you would have this magical ability that can auto-protect you, that only sometimes works. And then the second time she gets kidnapped by the Black Rose Society and her magical latent ability does nothing. Why? You are being, like, kidnapped, teleported away. Why does the power not do anything? I don't know. The show doesn't want to say, so I don't know. As I say, she has the magical ability to read the friggin' script, which is pretty lame. She also manages to figure out her abilities quick enough to be an important asset in the final fight. Some might even go as far as to say Piltover would have lost if Mel had not come back. Actually, Piltover most assuredly would have lost if Mel didn't come back and manage to figure out her magical abilities that she's only just unlocked. Wow, that's so lucky. Wow, so lucky. Has nothing to do with the other characters. Just lucky that Mel can figure all that out. She goes, yeah, from an interesting normal character to a quote-unquote badass magical user between seasons because they had to give her some powers so she could be added to the game. Dude. Really, really, really. I know she's popular. She's popular because she's interesting and intelligent and she has one of the best designs in the show. Visually, she looks amazing every time she's on screen. You guys knocked it out of the park. And then you had to make her a magical angel mummy. Because... why? Because she had to be in the game. And you can't be in the game if you don't have abilities. Dude. Stop. Like, stop doing this. Stop it with the skins. You're changing the visuals literally just for skins. You're giving people powers so they can be in the game. Stop. Make a show. Make the show first and then figure out what you want to do in the game. Friggin' hell, y'all. Eko, Eko. Consent. So, I don't really have a huge amount of issue with Eko. I'll be honest, throughout the season, he's chill. He does everything I thought Eko would do. And thank the gods, the writers had some constraint and didn't take his time manipulation and just absolutely cheat the show by making him like go back way back in time and changing it, like having all these like tragic things happen and then he just goes back in time. Thank God they didn't do that. They did do something a little bit odd with him, which, look, maybe I'm the only one that feels this way. Perfectly fine. But I'm going to say it anyway, yeah? So, Powder in episode 7 is a completely different person to the Jinx that Eko knows. The shipping between the two is odd enough, without you putting this nonsense into it, yeah? Our Eko is a stranger to the Powder in episode 7. The fact that people somehow attribute any of this to a potential romantic relationship with Eko and Jinx, to me, is freaking insane. As I've mentioned in this live stream, have you forgotten their last interaction? They were trying to kill each other. She was happy to kill him, blow him up, you know? Now people think that they're a thing because of what exactly? Eko's all sad and alone at the end, but dude, that is not... Jinx is not Powder. They are two different people. They have completely different experiences and mindsets. You need to chill, my brother. Just because you went to an alternate universe and you met this Powder who had the romantic interest not in you because you are a stranger to her, but in this alt world Eko, that doesn't mean you can just take this relationship and then plant it into your universe. My brother in Christ, Jinx is they are different people, and all the shippers, all the people that are, oh my gosh, he came back, and oh teehee, they drew on each other because it's so romantic. Dude, what are you smoking? Like, Jinx has been changed enough for them to just slap this freaking romantic interest in at the end, basically. Like, I don't understand how people can't comprehend that just because something happens in this alternate universe with a completely different timeline doesn't mean that that same thing is going to be the case when you go back to your reality. Dude, Eko, you should know this. You start, like, making out with her, brother. That is wrong. She is a stranger. You are a stranger. So wrong. She thinks she's macking out with her bro that she's known her whole life. Which, by the way, last I checked, isn't you, brother. That's not how consent works, my friend. You kind of messed that up slightly. Somehow builds a machine that perplexes the literal hex-tech machine god. You remember when he throws his time machine at Victor? And this perfect hex-tech chaos god is like, yo, I don't know you could do that with that, bro. That's crazy. I'm like, what? Dude. So stupid, dude. But aside from that, as I said, he's chill. Like, again, he's not perfect throughout the season, but there is I have a lot less issues with him than other people. As I said, I mean, you've got, what? Rictus is fine. Singed is fine, and Eko is okay. Those are the three characters that we get this whole season. Every single other character has so many issues. Like, ugh, yikes, very cringe, y'all. So that's the characters, really. Wow, I thought this was going to go for half an hour. We're at nearly 2 hours. Okie dokie. So, little bit of an end piece, yeah? Arcane Season 2. Couple little bullet points to close the live stream out, or the video out, just with some thoughts of the season overall, yeah? So, great visuals. Stunning animation. Guys, I will fight tooth and nail with anybody who disagrees that the visuals alone are incredible. Obviously, the animation is amazing. Whenever I talk a bit of nonsense about this show, it is about the writing, mainly. Animation, beautiful. is friggin' beautiful. The music, the soundtrack. I've listened to the soundtrack every day since season 1 came out. Arc 1 came out. Every day I've listened to the soundtrack because it is a freaking banger. Every song, even some of the OST that is like just written background music, is brilliant. Like these guys know how to do visuals, they know how to do music. Arc 2 is beautiful. I loved Arc 2. I said it in my breakdown. It's the best of the 3 arcs. There are so many elements to it that I love. That got me super like emotional, overly invested. But the reality is, it is that beautiful arc is spoiled in the 3rd and kind of bitters and turns it quite sour for me at least, yeah? So we have miserable amateur writing at times. Well, at times. Most of the time, unfortunately. Again, like, I wanted to put Arc 2 as good there because whenever I talk about, like, my main issues are the first 3 episodes, the last 3 episodes. I really like the middle. Some of the writing in the middle is pretty nonsense. You can tell I've spent half an hour in my Arc 2 breakdown talking about all of that nonsense, even though I really enjoyed the episodes. But most of the time, the writing is absolute nonsense, amateur, and it boggles my brain that some of the same people that wrote season 1 was writing season 2. How does that work? Like, that's not no way that's a fluke. Like no way. I don't believe it was lucky, yeah? It was skill. It's incredibly rushed, but still manages to waste time. How do you achieve that? Yeah? How do you possibly achieve that? I don't know. How do you have a super rushed season and still waste like an entire episode? Dude, what are we doing? Ugh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think this is the last point. Fumbles characters and moments multiple times, as I've said in my breakdowns and in this video. There are moments that they absolutely drop the ball on. There are characters that they fumble and do so dirty. And I don't even think they realise they're doing it. That's the really unfortunate element of it. They don't realise how badly they've fumbled this because the showrunner disagrees that the season was rushed. I don't know. Kind of cringe. Kind of, kind of big yikes in my opinion. Now, is that everything? Oh no. Oh my god. It's for the shippers. That's the last point that it kind of zipped on over. Oh dear. Let me bring this back up. Yeah, so it's for the shippers. We're just going to jump to here. So it's for the shippers. Like, that was one of the most cringe elements for me, was the fact that they spent a lot of time and quite a bit of effort into just making so many elements for the shippers. And look, congratulations shippers, you got what you wanted. I hope you're really, really happy with everything that you got from the show. As I've said, though, like, I'm not saying that the show literally put these people into relationships. They just gave shippers content and bait, and it's lame. I'm not here for it. I'm here to actually like pay attention to the show and enjoy it and love it. But I guess you are. I'm not really the fan that maybe you're after. Maybe. All right. So look, I thought I was going to do this for like an hour max. We're at 2 hours now. Jinkies. So as I said at the start, I wanted this so I could have something. The final breakdown is taking, as said, longer than expected. So I just wanted to quickly do this to just go over some of my thoughts with the characters, see what some of your guys' thoughts are as well in regards to these characters, use it as like a little video live stream test, you know. I would love to do some more live streams in the future. So this was a cool little test. I had fun putting the incredibly high-tech PowerPoint together for you guys. And, you know, maybe that's something we could do again in future if you guys liked that. But yeah, look, that's everything that I wanted to discuss here and now. The finale breakdown will be coming at some point. I'll then put all of the videos together. So the episode 1 breakdown, episode 2 and 3, arc 2 and then arc 3 will all be put together, so it's one big long video as well. So if you're someone who likes to just sit and watch long form videos, there'll be like maybe an hour and a half worth of content in that. But of course, the Arc 3 breakdown will be uploaded as is as well, so you can just watch that along with this little, as I said, little test live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you're watching later when it's done, I hope you enjoyed my rambling and my nonsense, and I'm certain there are plenty of points that some of you will disagree with. I'm sure there's maybe one or two things that you do agree with. But look, if you felt like I missed the mark on a character that you really like, let me know. I'm more than happy to have that conversation with you guys. I think the funniest thing to me is that I've been uploading these Arcane videos. I've had a lot of people that have disagreed with me, but the only thing that I've conceded on is, as mentioned at the start of the stream, yes, I did pronounce Isha's name wrong in those videos. But yeah, that's because I didn't think they'd be so lame and call her woman. Yeah, Isha, woman? Dude. Oh, we've got this new female girl character, and she's going to be very pivotal to the story and Jinx. Oh, what should her name be? Oh, I don't know. Let's call her woman. Dude. Oh, caramba. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I need to I need to get on with it. I need to continue writing stuff for these videos. So, look, that'll be it for now. I might do another live stream potentially next week. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, I just wanted to do this as a bit of a test. Couple hours of me chit-chatting about some of the characters. Kind of just going off bullet points. And yeah, that's us, guys. That's us, folks. Thank you so much for jumping in. If you have, everybody that jumped in and out throughout the 2 hours, thank you so much for watching. As said, if you're watching the video after the fact, thank you. But yeah, look, keep an eye out for that breakdown. That'll be coming. And then another longer video will be coming of the entire series.